finding meaning in our life, finding progress in our life, right? These are the things that allow us to continue to keep things moving. There's always a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of devastation. There's a lot of negative things that happen around us and in our life. And one of the things that can get us away from focusing on that stuff is we have our own purpose. We have our own things that we are moving towards. We know we're making progress in an area. And one of the things that he said in there is that it has to be what? A big goal. He said it has to be something that's big. The bigger that it is, the more that it's going to kind of pull us in that direction. And we have to be able to say, hey, there's something that I want. There's things that I want to get to in my life. And I have to be able to see them, envision them, but then at the end of the day, have some discipline in order to get there, right? Discipline is what takes us to that place. One of my, probably like the second or third to last post I made on TikTok was of Venus Williams talking about discipline with Elena Cardone, right? She's talking about discipline. She's talking about how discipline unlocks the door to everything that you want in life, right? And this is coming from, again, world-class performers, world-class champions, right? So success leaves clues. When you listen to people that are successful, you'll get this information. Discipline is the key to get you to wherever you want to be in life. Jordan Peterson in there also talked about self-organization. One of the easiest ways to start to get discipline is to notice something inherently that is out of order, that is not organized, that is inherently not right in your life, around your life, or in your life, and then change it. It could be something simple, right? As I sit here, my desk is kind of messy, right? Like, I'm not going to show you guys, but if I did show you, right? My desk around this computer that I'm sitting in front of is pretty messy. I got some papers on the floor and I got some other things. So anytime I get real, like, oh man, my life's a little chaotic and there's a bunch of things happening, I look at my desk, I look at my surroundings, I look at things that I know are easy, that I could clean, that I could maintain, that I can get myself organized in. And that gets me organized in a bunch of other areas of my life. And this happens with all of us. So that self-organization, that thinking about what is inherently not right, what am I doing or what's around me that can be organized, and let's do the small things, and that'll lead to some of the bigger things. But again, the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen, is discipline. If you want to achieve the life that you want, if you want to design your ideal life, design the life you don't need a break from, design the life that brings you everything that you're looking for, it's going to take your discipline. In the very beginning of that video, in the early parts of that video, Jordan Peterson talked about discipline being the ability, right, to not have that instant gratification, right, to delay instant gratification, to be able to sacrifice. That was the word he used, to be able to sacrifice. So I always bring that back to us, right? How much are we sacrificing to get to our ultimate goals? How much are we sacrificing to get to our ultimate vision? Right? And he made this statement. He said, it's not just that you do something a little bit more that you want to do. Like, it's you make actual long-term sacrifices for the greater good. Long-term sacrifices. That's really the key. I was talking to somebody about this. I do a 36-hour fast. Some of you guys know that. Ebbs and flows throughout the year, right? But right now, every week I do a 36-hour fast. I posted it on my Facebook. A few people had messaged me like, that's awesome, I want to do it, like I can't wait to do it, like, what's kind of the way that you do it. They're asking me some questions around it. And then something happened where my wife was making food, or she was eating in front of me or something like that, right? And somebody mentioned that, like, it must be really hard to do that, to like fast when my wife cooks and right, she makes good food and all that stuff. And I was like, well, it's easier to be disciplined when the goal, right, the goal is big enough. And the goal is that I want to be healthy and vital and right, live long and be able to jump and all these types of things as I'm older. So I can sacrifice the 36 hours a week of watching my wife cook food. I can sacrifice that and have that discipline for the greater good, for the long-term benefit of being healthy, right? And so this is what discipline is. It's the sacrifices. And in the book, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class, says here, the great ones choose discipline over pleasure. They choose discipline over pleasure. Here it says, when average performers have had enough for the day and call it quits, champions are usually just getting started. Discipline is the watchword of great performers. Discipline makes the difference between the good and the great. The great ones will tell you discipline is more of a decision than it is an active skill. It's the ability to stay the course and complete promises you've made. The fulfillment of these promises builds confidence and self-esteem, which eventually leads the champions to believe almost anything is possible. It's a habit and a self-fulfilling prophecy built in one. Discipline is a logic-based decision that performers adhere to, regardless of whether they feel like it or not. Discipline pushes performers past pain and punishment. As my late business partner and mentor Bill Gove always said, it's easier to act yourself into good thinking than think yourself into good action. This is the mindset of the champion. The great ones like Bill Gove don't let feelings interfere with their performance. Instead, they harness the power of their emotional motivators to propel them past the competition. Average people see discipline as painful chore to be avoided at all costs. The world class sees it as the ultimate power tool for performance. Discipline makes the difference between the good and the great. Discipline, it says the great ones will tell you discipline is more of a decision than an active skill. It's the decision to be disciplined. It's the decision to say, what is up ahead, I'm willing to sacrifice now for. That is a decision. That's a decision. I choose to be disciplined in my finances instead of seeking pleasure in my finances, right? It's a choice. It's a choice. I choose to be disciplined in my health or my eating habits instead of choosing the pleasurable side. It's all about the decision. Discipline is more of a decision than an active skill. So if that's the case, have we made the decision to be disciplined? Have we made the decision to be disciplined? I was talking to a client. I gave her this because I never like us having excuses, right? You guys should know that about me already, possibly, right? I don't deal well with the excuse side of things, right? I always believe that, hey, with no excuses, we just make adjustments. It's okay to like explain what happened, but now we just make adjustments and we just keep things rolling. So I treat clients that way as well. And I had a client that told me that she's just not disciplined in starting her own business, or right, like we were talking about her business that she wanted to go off and do. She said, I'm just not disciplined in doing it. And I was like, that's not true. You're actually very disciplined. You're disciplined because you go to work and you've had a job for the past 12 years, right? Like you show up. You're disciplined because you brush your teeth every day and you right, hopefully brush your teeth every day and wash up every day, right? Like that's a discipline. It's a discipline that you just choose to do because, right, you see the benefits. You don't want to be dirty. You want to have money, like whatever you think the benefits are, sure, but you already display discipline in your life. So if any of you are listening, like, I don't have discipline, I promise you, you're disciplined in some area. You're disciplined in something, right? Because that's our certainty. That's the way that we operate. You might not be disciplined in the things you want to be, and that's why we're going to work towards those things. But let's just, again, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Let's just make sure we're not saying out loud that we're not disciplined. We're all disciplined. You all have discipline in areas. It's just we now have to apply it in the areas that we want to see the most change in. But it's just a decision. That's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a decision. I'm making a decision to say this is more important than that. I'm making a decision to say that I'm willing to sacrifice, that I'm willing to delay gratification. I do not need to experience pleasure during this process. If all we do is live a life where we're seeking pleasure, where all we want to do is, right, be pleased, we're not going to have the character building things, the disciplines that are going to take us to the life that we want. So we have to know discipline is a decision, and then you just start to execute on that decision. And you start small. That's what Jordan Peterson was talking about. self-organization, little things. Little things. Again, it's the ability to stay the course and complete promises you've made. That's discipline. The ability to stay the course and complete promises you've made, whether those are promises you made to other people, whether those most likely are promises you made to yourself. But that's also how we get better with our discipline. If you want to say, hey, I need to be more disciplined in any of those areas that are going to change your life, start with being disciplined in small areas that you might not think will change your life. Some of you have read that book or heard me say this before. You should make your bed every day. That is a great discipline to have. I forget the guy, but he wrote a book. He's a Navy vet or a Navy SEAL or something, high commander. I'm not quite sure, but he wrote a book and talked about the importance of making your bed every day. Little things that they do in the military that create what? Discipline. It creates discipline. And how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So if you can create small disciplines around your life, like making your bed, like making sure that, you know, your kitchen is clean, I don't know, whatever the small disciplines are for you. If you can do those, it'll lead into the big things of discipline, the bigger areas of sacrifice, the bigger areas of delayed gratification. And as it says here, the ability to stay the course and complete the promises you made to yourself, and the fulfillment of these promises builds confidence and self-esteem, which leads you to believe that almost anything is possible. I just want you to see how all this correlates to you actually getting to the life that you want, right? We're not just talking about this stuff so we can talk about it. We're doing this so we can change, so we can unlearn and relearn new things that are going to get us to the life that we design. There's some things right here at this life level that you're at that you say, hey, I want to get beyond this. I need more. And because of that, we have a vision of that. We have to now start at the very beginning process, the foundational parts. So we have to build some discipline, because that's one of the foundational things that, again, creates confidence and self-esteem, which then gives you the belief that you can go off and do anything you want. If you don't possess the confidence and self-esteem to even believe that you can go do anything, again, how many times do we hear this? Everything starts with our thoughts. Everything starts with our beliefs, like what we're thinking about. So again, we're working backwards. Small disciplines builds confidence, builds self-esteem, leads you to beliefs that are going to help you understand that anything's possible, which is going to help you now do the right things and think the right things to design the life you want. Comes back to making the decision to be disciplined. The decision, right? That's really all this is. It's a decision. That's why you can make that decision today. After we get off this call, right now on this call, you can be like, hey, I'm going to be more disciplined in these two areas. I'm going to sacrifice more in these two areas. I'm going to delay more gratification in these three areas. It's just a decision. It's a decision. And then we execute on that decision. The quote here says, with self-discipline, anything is possible. I believe discipline is the ultimate key to success, as it determines your approach towards every day. Discipline keeps you focused and keeps you performing at a world-class level. Discipline keeps you focused. Some of us need focus. Focus. Follow one course until successful. Some of us need a little focus. Well, discipline keeps you focused. If you feel unfocused, if you feel like there's a lot of things that you're moving around, you can't focus on, maybe it's because our schedule isn't disciplined. Maybe it's because our eating isn't disciplined. Maybe we're lacking in some areas of discipline. We haven't made the decision to be disciplined in some areas. So now what happens? We've lost confidence in a few areas. We lose self-esteem in a few areas. Then all of a sudden our beliefs go to this place of, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I can't do that. Maybe that's not possible. Maybe I am okay where I am. That's the other side of this conversation, right? When you don't make that decision to be disciplined and you live an undisciplined life, you lose confidence in yourself. You lose self-esteem. You lose worth. You lose vision. All of it goes away, right? That's why we have to work the other side, because there's no neutral in life. There's no just, I stay in the same spot. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. That's the way it works. So I encourage you all to move forward. in little processes like this. Like, hey, I'm going to choose discipline over pleasure. The next time I think I really want this, I want it, I'm going to choose to be disciplined and delay the gratification. The next time I gave this to somebody, I think I might have told some of you this also. Met with a lady fixing her finances. Finances weren't in the greatest order, yet she wanted to go take a vacation for her birthday at the end of this in like 2 months. And I was like, what are you celebrating? I get it. It's a new year of life. That's great. But like finances say, that's just pleasure. Where's the discipline? If we haven't been disciplined all year, then we can't reward ourselves. But yet if we live this life, if we live this life to say, you know what? Like, I disciplined myself. I sacrificed. I went through all these things. Now I can get that reward. Now I can have that pleasure. That becomes how we live our life in all the areas. I will sacrifice first in order to get what I want. Pay now or pay later, but either way, you're going to pay. I prefer to pay now so I can enjoy it later. Here's the action step for today. It says on a scale from 1 to 7, 7 being most disciplined, how disciplined are you in the different areas of your life? Rate yourself. And categories include business and career. How disciplined are you in your business and career? How disciplined are you at showing up for your business? How disciplined are you at making phone calls? How disciplined are you at selling your product? How disciplined are you at putting together your marketing material? Like, how disciplined are you at your business and career? 2, how disciplined are you in your family and friends? How disciplined are you around who you allow around you? What boundaries you have? Your words, how you show up for friends and family. How disciplined are you in those areas? What about money and finances? How disciplined are you in your finances? I know everyone needs a little work of discipline in their finances. Everybody, right? But rate yourself 1 to 7. Like, are you on closer to the 1? Like, you don't really have a lot of discipline, right? You good. You save a little bit and then you spend it all because you just need the thing. But where are you? Sit down, be honest with yourself. How disciplined are you in your health and diet and exercise? How disciplined are you in what you eat, in your movements? How disciplined are you in your faith, in your spiritual life? How disciplined are you at reading the word, you're reading the scriptures, going to church, meditating, whatever you do? Like, how disciplined are you in that? How disciplined are you in your personal growth, personal development? Do you only jump on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays? If you do, kudos. I'm glad you do, right? I'm glad you jump on all 3 days. But if that's all you do, you got to do some other work, right? It's kind of like people that go to church. You can't only just go to church on Sunday and think like every Sunday you're just going to now become better spiritually, right? You got to spend some time. So same thing here. We only spend an hour and a half a week with y'all. An hour and a half, 3 days, 30 minutes. You spend an hour and a half. What are you doing for the other 166 hours you have this week, right? The sum of how disciplined are you in your personal development? These are the things to pay attention to, ladies and gentlemen. These are the things to think about. Discipline is going to be one of those keys to your success. And I encourage you all to make sure that you are making the decision today to be more disciplined in some of those areas. Because too crowded down here at the bottom. It's time to get to the top of this thing. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. If nobody else ever tells you that, remember that I've told you that. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. The people around you deserve to win. But it all starts with you. You guys are the ones getting this message. Now you have to apply it. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Understand what we're talking about. Learn it. Apply it in your life. Watch your life change.